Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Instacar HK. Today we are reviewing one of the rarest cars we have ever reviewed on this channel, and that is this one of 25 Gunther Werks Porsche 993. Now, restomods are obviously the trend these days, with lots of companies doing restomodding, especially for Porsches. On our channel alone, we have reviewed the very popular and famous Singer Porsche 964, the Theon 964 from the UK, and Gunther Werks is no different. It is a restomod company specifically for Porsches. Also from California, USA, Gunther Werks, for now at least, only focuses on the Porsche 993. The founder of Gunther Werks was also the founder of the mod company for Steiner, which has been around for nearly 20 years. They specialize in producing aftermarket carbon fiber parts and wheels. So I've watched different interviews by the founder of Gunther Werks before online, and he said that the principle of Gunther Werks is functional beauty, where functionality comes before aesthetics. And you can see that with the looks of this 993. Obviously got a lot of presence, but first of all, because it is based on a 993 and not a 964, unlike many of the other restomod companies, this car is not backdated to a G series, F series, whatever. It is instead looks exact, it obtained the looks of the original 993, but immediately one thing you notice is the extremely wide wheel tracks, both front and rear. Particularly at the front, if you look in detail at the front fenders are really, really wide. And the reason for that is, obviously for road holding purposes, Gunther Werks, one of the first things they did was to widen the tracks, both front and rear of the car, so that the car will have wider stands to look better and to have better road holding. Also, they particularly and intentionally widen the front tracks so that it is aligned with the rear tracks. Because as most of you would know, original Porsches usually have a wide rear track and a narrow front track. That is for the car to be more prone to understeer instead of oversteering, which is what most street cars are set up as. But Gunther Werks had aligned the front and rear together, so-called squaring it up. So the front and rear are similarly wide now for better handling. But the interesting thing is, Porsche actually always intended this, because the original chassis of the 993 already has two suspension mounting points, one in the inside and one on the outside. The original car has the mounting points on the inside for a narrower track, and the mounting points on the outside are reserved for the racing cup cars, the factory racing cup cars. So what Gunther Werks did was immediately to adjust the suspension mounting points to the outer mount, so as to create the wider wheel track. Now, because Steiner used to do a lot of carbon fiber parts, a lot of the body panels on this car is actually made in carbon fiber, including all the wide fenders you see, the rooftop, etc. So despite the car looking a lot bigger and wider than the original 993, it is actually really light. It is only 1200 kg, the Gunther Werks Porsche 993. Which brings me to the engine. Now, as with all restomod companies, of course, the engine has to be uprated thoroughly. All the internals are updated to better and lighter materials, although the block remains the original 993 block. So the power has been upgraded to 435 horsepower, which is plenty for the 1200 kg car. Now, I've been driving this car for a little bit now, for some distance now. I'm actually helping my friend, or he's helping me, lending me the car to drive to the Hong Kong Classic Car Club Trader Roadshow. And I have to say, initial impression, yes, the car is very wide. You can see it from the outside. But when you're sitting in it, it feels like quite normal, because your view is that of a normal 993. But it is only when you look in the rear view mirrors that you realize, damn, those are really, really wide fenders at the back. But otherwise, it doesn't really affect your driving sense, being how wide the car is. Now let's step on it a bit. Despite it being a restomod, Gunther Werks did say they want to try to keep the analog nature of the car. So despite with all the modern technologies, it is supposed to still feel like an analog car, which this car still does. The steering is very, the steering provides a lot of input, it's not light. The pedals feel quite like 911s now that I have some 911 experience under my belt with my own. The clutch, I thought it was going to be quite heavy, but turns out it's not. But the clutch is a racing clutch, so the biting point is a bit short. But very easy to get used to. I didn't store anything. I have definitely driven worse racing clutches before. Power delivery. Well, you can tell me how the power delivery sound. Fast is the word. It's very fast. It's very, very fast. It sounds very angry, the car, when you step on it. But I have to say, the power delivery is at the same time very linear, and it comes very composed. You're just now going through a few gears. I didn't even have time to look at the speedo, but it's very composed. It doesn't scare you. It doesn't throw you off, despite being a very fast car. Gear shifts are great. Really good, and it just goes. It's an NA car, but it just goes. Really. And you do feel the lightness by the pickup of the speed. 1 gears, 2 gears, and you're there. Now, we don't have much twisty roads on today's roads, unfortunately, but so far it has been quite impressive. It is not as loud or as I guess raw as the Singer or the Theon. This is actually much more civilized, given, well, not surprised, the technology they use is likely different, and obviously this is based on a 993, whereas the other two are based on the older generation 964. But so it definitely doesn't feel as raw as the 964 restomods that we have tested before. So it's quite different. It's quite different, actually. It is very furious car. Like, you step on it and it's really pounding on, really picking up speed. Sounds nice. All right, we're in Central now, so I need to wrap this up. It is a really quick review. Like I said, this wasn't a review-focused outing today. It's more like an opportunistic outing to get in a review and this short little drive to the Trader Roadshow by the Classic Car Club of Hong Kong. But let me try to summarize as best as I can. First of all, the looks. Wow, the presence the car has is really quite incredible. It's so wide. Everything is so wide. And you know, Porsches are already known to be wide cars and with the turbos and whatnot, so it's not like it's a new thing for a Porsche to have wide fenders, but this car takes it to another level. And to the driving, so the driving, it's, like I said, it's very modern, but I do believe the founder when they say they want to keep the analog nature of the car, because it does, but it's not as raw as the other restomod. Like I said, the Singer and the Theon I've tried, it's not as raw as a car, which actually makes it more usable. So now I'm saying the racing clutch now, after 20 minutes under the belt, I'm already totally fine with the clutch bite point. So that's a good thing. Like this car was more usable than I thought, because looking at the looks, it looks quite intimidating, and people have said, oh, the clutch, you know, the owner told me the clutch was heavy, it was a racing clutch, it's hard to modulate, whatnot. I think it's fine. So I can imagine this car can be quite usable, which is important for a Porsche. So we've finally arrived at the Chater Road for the Chater Road show by the Classic Car Club of Hong Kong. Beautiful weather in Central today, so perfect to do this car review. Now, as mentioned, the wide tracks, now we're out of the car, the wide tracks, look how wide it is. The rears are 335 tires with 295 fronts, which is just amazing. And as mentioned, if you look at it, it's actually aligned together, where Gunther Werks called squaring it up. In one of the interviews, the founder said that one of his inspiration on the aesthetics design was actually the Porsche 959. And at first I was like, how does this look like a 959? But when I looked at pictures of the 959, it actually also has this sort of aligned front and rear wheel track. So really, it does have a 959 DNA, which is pretty cool. Now, obviously, for all resto mods, the owner gets to pick everything they like, you know, colors, materials, everything. And this one, this beautiful example, is in this dark green color. As the owner told me, he's a fan of green, and I think this shade of green is really, really good. Not too loud, a bit subtle, but green enough. And the wheels, he chose silver because, like me, the owner is not a fan of these, you know, trendy black or gunmetal gray wheels, which I also hate. He thinks that a silver wheel looks more clean and it shows the design better, which I'm in complete agreement with. So again, Gunther Werks made only 25 of these 993 coupes, 25. Rumor has it that Hong Kong has 5 of them, as you do, because we're a crazy city. I myself know of at least 3 that exist here, one of which being this one. So long story short, super honored to have the opportunity to drive and test this Gunther Werks, one of 23 993 coupe. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed this car and will be enjoying this day. If you did, please give us a like, please subscribe. Please remember to click the bell button next to the subscribe button so you know when our next episode is. Thank you and have a good day.